Welcome to 123 Minimize with Jody and Linnea, the podcast where we discuss easy minimalism for busy moms. Whether you're a new mom in need of practical decluttering tips or an experienced parent seeking simplified routines, you've come to the right place. I'm Jody, wife and full-time working mom of 4. In 2017, I founded the Minimalist Mom Facebook group, now with over 270,000 members. My passion is creating a simple, healthy, and happy home where my family can thrive.
I'm Linnea, a homeschooling mom of 4. In 2021, my family and I sold our house, downsized to a 36-foot travel trailer RV, and embraced minimalism. Living with less has been liberating, and I'm thrilled to share tips and experiences to help you simplify your life. Whether you're sitting down, getting stuff done, or lacing up your walking shoes, welcome to the 123 Minimize podcast.
In today's episode, we'll be talking about getting started, so stay tuned for insights and thought-provoking discussion. So I have a question for you, Linnea.
Yes.
How did you get started in minimalism?
Well, I got started in a unique way that not a lot of people do, although it's becoming more popular. My family and I decided to sell our house and move into an RV to travel around the United States with our kids. So I had wanted to be a minimalist for a very long time. Having 4 kids right in a row. They're basically all 1 year apart from each other.
Wow.
It was intense. And so I really didn't have any time to even keep up with anything as far as decluttering and things like that when they were little. So by the time we were ready to move out of our house after having lived there for 8 years, it was amazing how much stuff we took out of that house.
For sure.
And we even had a neighbor kind of teasing us, but I think she was genuinely surprised because it was probably months of every weekend, us taking furniture out that we weren't going to use anymore and putting it on the curb for free. You know, some stuff went to the dumpster that was broken and not suitable for donating. And she said to me, she's like, I just couldn't believe how much stuff kept coming out of that little house. I'm like, you're right. So, so we dove right in to minimalism, and it was intense, a little period of time there because there was a lot of stuff to go through. But now we travel and we don't have a lot of stuff tying us down, and we're able to just enjoy quality time together. Cleaning doesn't take very long, and we have a lot more time to spend together. So
That's great. I remember watching you post about it on Facebook when you're doing that and feeling jealous.
Really?
Because I've always wanted to do that, to like sell everything. I don't think it was in the plans for us, but just to be able to do that, you know, to be able to take that jump of faith into living on the road full time, not having that house to, come back to if you didn't like it. Yeah. It's like such a commitment, and having that kind of adventurous spirit. I think it's amazing. What memories for your kids?
Yeah. Yes. We have made some amazing memories. It definitely was scary. Very scary.
Yeah.
But, I wouldn't change it for anything. It's been amazing. And we're not done yet, so.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I got into minimalism quite a while ago, and I was just feeling overwhelmed with the day-to-day. So I had kids, toddlers and a newborn, and it was too much cleaning. I spent all the time cleaning, picking up after them, and I didn't always have the best attitude about it. I really was the only one that was probably old enough to clean on my own. So, kids, they help clean, but it is a lot of work. Actually, I think it's more work sometimes to have the kids help you in the beginning. So I was outnumbered with 4 kids, and it was a lot. It was just a lot of my time. And, you exchange your time to maintain the things that you buy, right? So wherever the saying is, you use your time to make money, to buy stuff that you have to use your time to maintain, upkeep, clean, put away. And so I feel like I was in this cycle of using up my time, and I wasn't doing what I wanted to do, spending time with my kids, reading books, going to the park, I was cleaning. I was cleaning and cleaning and cleaning. And so when I heard about minimalism, I thought, wow, this is amazing. There's a whole method to not having stuff. I've never been incredibly sentimental, like compared to my siblings. I can let stuff go easier. And they've mentioned that. It's not that I don't care about stuff. It's just that I don't necessarily tie my memories to things. So I can have the memories without necessarily needing the things. Like, I remember my grandma. I think about my grandma, but I don't need 50 things from her.
Sure.
So I felt like having to maintain the things, keep the kids from touching the things.
Oh, yeah.
It was just becoming more of a burden. I wasn't necessarily thinking about her for those things. I was feeling almost guilty that I needed to keep the stuff.
Right.
And so the first thing that we did is my husband and I sat down and we watched a documentary. I haven't been able to find it, or I would link it below, but it was on YouTube. It wasn't the Minimalist guys. They didn't have their documentary out yet. It was a different person, and it was really about living with very few items. I think they talked in the documentary about people who slept in hammocks, like that far into minimalism.
Wow.
But I just thought it was amazing to kind of go that far into it.
Sure.
And so we watched it, and my husband, he's not totally a minimalist, I wouldn't say, but he definitely is okay getting on board with some of my ideas over the years. So I started getting rid of stuff, and for my journey of minimalism, it was not a whole entire house purge at once. It was like peeling an onion. So I went through everything once, and it was easy. Like, start with easy stuff like, I don't need 15 years of tax records, right? So you look on the IRS website and decide what you need to keep.
Yeah.
And so it was that easy, that low-hanging fruit of, the broken stuff, the stuff that you're not using anymore, clothes that are maybe too small or too big, that easy layer. And that was so, rewarding. I think the dopamine you get from cleaning up your area and seeing that immediate result of, this is everything I want in here.
Yes.
Once you get through that, then I kind of kept digging and deeper and deeper. And I've done that this entire time because you never really stop with minimalism maintenance when you have little kids. So as they grow and you need different things. So at one point, a high chair was something that I needed. And then at another point, it wasn't something I needed anymore. And so you're always having to look around and evaluate what is in your house that you're actually using on a daily, weekly, or yearly basis.
Right.
And some things that you were using one year, you might not need anymore.
Yeah.
So on a whim, I couldn't really find a lot of minimalism and mom type material back then. It was all often people that were single and lived alone, and with their time, they traveled a lot, which is so amazing and definitely something that I wanted to do, right? But I didn't find a lot in regards to moms and minimalism. So on a whim, I started a Facebook group. I just went onto Facebook and I started a group called Minimalist Mom. And over many years, it grew to a large amount of people. I think it almost has 280,000 people in it now. And that's really how it got started. I never advertised it. It was just a lot of people wanting that community of minimalism and motherhood together. And so that's been an amazing resource and just a wonderful thing to be a part of over the years.
Well, and in that group, almost every day, people are asking, where do I start? I'm so overwhelmed. I don't even know what to do. Where do you start? How do you start?
Right. Because if you get started and dig in too far, sometimes you'll have everything dumped out of every drawer and every box. And you're like, what have I done?
Yeah.
How am I going to put this back together?
Right.
What have I done? Right. And it's not overnight. It's taken years. It's not overnight. A really easy way to get started is just to look around your house and try to find 100 things that you don't need anymore. This is not going to be in one day necessarily. It could be in a month or 2 months, but just set some kind of a plan for yourself to just pick that low-hanging fruit, that easy stuff to get rid of. Another thing that I feel like is important in my journey in minimalism was to stop buying non-consumable things for a period of time. In my journey, I read this book called A Year Without a Purchase or something like that. I can look it up and link it below, but it was about a family who didn't make any kind of purchase for a year that wasn't food. And it was a very interesting and I think well-written book. I have never done anything like that, but I have gone a month without a non-consumable purchase. And I think what that does, it kind of helps repair your brain from any kind of a shopping addiction or getting that desire and need to always be bringing stuff into your home. Because when you're bringing stuff into your home all the time, you have to remember to put stuff back out of your home. And so it kind of stops that cycle of purge, spend, purge, spend. And you can get on that cycle and never be able to get off. And you feel like you're practicing minimalism, but you don't know why your house is always full and your bank account is always empty.
Right. And that's really frustrating. Because if you feel like you've taken on this brand new endeavor and you're really working hard to make changes and you put in all this hard work to go through your entire house, going through all the different rooms, and then you look back at the first room you started with and it's just as bad as it was, then you kind of almost, it's hard to, stay motivated, right. I feel. Mm-hmm. So...
And sometimes we fall into this cycle of wanting to buy minimalism.
Right.
So maybe you go on the Facebook group or something and you see people talking about a certain bin or a certain like organizational system or a certain thing that they bought for their kitchen. And you think, if I go on Amazon or I go to Target or I go out to the store and I buy all these bins or all these something, then I can have minimalism. I'm going to change all my hangers to wooden hangers or something like that.
Yeah.
But you can't really buy minimalism. You're just changing your hangers or organizing stuff instead of getting rid of it. It's still more money out the door and it's still more of your time out the door. Yep. I'm not saying that organizing things can't be incredibly helpful. I feel like I'm an organized person and I do like that kind of stuff. But in the beginning, I definitely had to make sure that I didn't do that. Yeah. Because that would never get me the results that I wanted to get.
Right. Because you still have all that stuff. You're still managing all that stuff.
Right.
It's just looks prettier.
Right.
Maybe. For a time.
For a time. Exactly. So setting a goal for yourself for a certain amount of days, it could even be like every Monday you don't buy anything. Even if you just did that, you might see how much you are potentially buying stuff. Mm-hmm. Another thing that's really important for me is to practice gratefulness for things that I have.
Yes. Yes. That's so good because we will always want more. Mm-hmm. Especially if we're comparing ourselves to other people and what they have and wanting more.
Yeah, that's very easy to do, especially with social media. Yeah. Like maybe you get on YouTube and you type in minimalism and somebody has like this certain like sweater or all this, stuff. Now you're thinking again, you can buy what they have and then you'll be what they are. Mm-hmm. But I mean, maybe not everybody falls into that, but I definitely fall into that. The idea that I can just buy stuff to get somewhere. But it's, for me, practicing gratefulness has really helped me to be happy with what I have, happy with the car I have, happy with the house I have, happy with the dishes that I have or the table that I have, and just be content and really just be grateful for that item and how it served our family, and then just to be content and not looking for the next best thing.
Sure. I have found meal planning has helped a lot. Mm-hmm. I think it helps minimize time.
Yeah, stress.
Oh,
eating out.
I hate cooking, so I would just stand in the kitchen for like half an hour trying to figure out what to make. Yeah. And it was such a waste of time. Mm-hmm. So it can also help reduce wasted food because if you have a plan, you plan around the food you already have in your pantry and in your fridge instead of going out to the store and buying more food and then the food you have in your fridge spoils in the meantime. But it can also, in the same, hand in hand there, save money because they're not buying extra things or eating out on a whim. Right. Because you don't have a plan.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can really help, I agree, with using what you have.
Yeah.
So one rule that I took on a long time ago is if we need something, to try to look around the house and see if we have something that we can use in our home. And so that can go as far as supplies that you have, but also food. Shop your refrigerator and shop your freezer and your pantry at least once a month. And so implementing that really helped us to kind of, again, using what you have, using what you already purchased, reducing stuff that ends up in the trash can, And then learning to not buy certain things again. Like
Right.
maybe you buy something and nobody likes it. And when you get to that day of the week when you're going to cook it, you don't even want to make it. Well, maybe just take that off the rotation. It's not for you guys. You know, it's not for this time period in your life or whatever. But meal planning and all that stuff, to me, definitely falls into the lifestyle of minimalism and just being more intentional with what we bring into our home and to have a plan for the things that we bring into our home. So we talked about in our group, you know, people asking questions. So in the Facebook group that I started years ago, we have a challenge. We have daily challenges in the group to help people get started. So if you listen to the things we said here and you're like, I want something more, I want something more structured, I want more support, I want more feedback, whatever, join our free Facebook group. We have daily challenges in there that go through your entire house. We talk about self-care. We talk about having rest times with your family and more. We'll link in the description below a link to get into our free decluttering challenge in our Facebook group. And also, we have a Facebook page where we post inspiration and offer more support. Additionally, if you're not interested in joining a group possibly that is 280,000 people right now, we do have a membership group as well, which you can find more information on our website, that people pay a small fee and you come in and you can have more of that community, but on a smaller level and more interaction with us. If you are new to minimalism and you don't know where to start, we have a free quick start guide on our website. This guide will take you through 6 steps that you can do to get started on your journey. Download this quick start guide. You'll have a pathway with getting started, finding a supportive community, and access to more inspiration and support from us. When I was first getting started, another thing that I like to do is just, you know, read different books. One that was very helpful to me is the book, The Joy of Less. And that was written a while ago, and I just found it helpful to spend some time reading books, listening to podcasts like this one, and just kind of having that continual drip of information to kind of keep me interested in it, keep me motivated in it, so that I could get to the point where I really started seeing results.
One other tip for where to start would be to choose a room that you are in most, like the kitchen, which is why we made that kitchen PDF that you can get, because your kitchen is somewhere that you are in 2 or 3 times a day or more, depending on how much you're home. But having that room organized and minimized really is a great place to start. You will really feel a good sense of accomplishment when you're in there working daily and you don't feel like you're tripping over all the stuff and you have counter space. The other tip would be to maybe choose a room that would be easy to get through quickly, that doesn't have, you know,
Sentimental items.
Right. Don't go to your storage locker first, or
your bedroom. You know,
or your clothes. That can be hard too. But just like start with something small, then you can finish it in a short amount of time and have that like first sense of accomplishment that will give you the drive to keep going.
Yeah, for me, the kitchen was good. I avoided like the sentimental old dishes. I had a couple of those, and I saved those. I still actually have some old dishes, and I do use them, but once in a while, some from great grandmothers. I didn't get those on the first pass at all. I went through the easy stuff, but for me, another one is a bathroom. It's very easy.
Yes.
It's small. It usually doesn't have sentimental items in it. It can, I suppose, but typically it's like old forgotten Q-tips, expired this, that. You can clean it out, wipe it down in one day, because typically, I don't know how big everyone else's bathroom is, but it's like one cabinet, a couple of doors, couple of drawers. And so that was very motivating to get through really quickly. Another tip is just to do one thing at a time, like one drawer, one cabinet. Even if you just did one thing, a small section, once a week even, if that's all you had time for on a Sunday afternoon, just to do that one little thing, you will make progress. It feels like you won't. It feels like you want to get more done, but you will make progress, and that momentum will build, and people in your home will become interested in this path you're on, hopefully, and you'll start to make more progress and kind of feel the benefits of it. Well, that's a wrap for today's episode about getting started. We hope you enjoyed delving into this topic with us and found a few tips that might help you on your journey. We want to extend a heartfelt thank you to our amazing listeners for tuning in. Your support and curiosity are what keeps us going. If you found today's episode valuable, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you never miss an opportunity to explore new ideas and perspectives. And if you're inclined, leave us a review, which helps to spread the word to others who might enjoy the journey too.
As always, feel free to connect with us on Facebook or Instagram to share your thoughts, suggestions, or just to say hi. Until next time, stay motivated. Take care.